Hi there, Eagle engineers. Today we're going to talk a little bit about windmills. So windmills have been around for ages, and it was one of the first things that human beings decided to do technologically. It was the first time that they could use wind energy and convert it to a usable type of energy. In other words, they could control the power of the wind. So today I'm going to show you a couple of videos that show you how to create a windmill. One of them is very, very simple, the other much more complex. But there are certainly things that they have in common. The first one, which is very simple, just uses paper cups, something that more than likely you have at home. The second one, a little more complex. You may not have all of the materials, but you might be able to substitute some things that you have around the house. I encourage you in either case to have an adult with you to help you because there is some cutting involved. So without any more from me, let's look at that first video. So again, we're starting with 2 paper cups. And in the center of the bottom of a paper cup, we're just going to poke a small hole and insert a straw. In this case, it's a bendable straw, which is very helpful. In the second cup, we're going to mark the center and poke a hole, but we're not going to use that hole just yet. He uses a plastic ring or a bracelet as a guide. You could just as easily use a rubber band because, again, it's only a guide for where to stop cutting. This part is going to create your blades. So you'll notice he uses the scissors and he cuts evenly around the cup, stopping at that rubber band, or in his case, plastic bracelet. So he made nice, even windmill paddles that he's bending down. He's gonna flatten that with his hand. And even going to flatten it a little bit more by pushing it against the top of a table. Remember that hole that we made? It's time to make it just a little bit bigger. Looks like he's using maybe a small pencil or a very, very small pointed screwdriver of some sort. Pencil works well, a wooden skewer works well, anything that is going to fit inside that hole, and then as you saw there, inside the straw. And that's it. You have a windmill. Maybe not the most sturdy, maybe not the most powerful, but nonetheless, you do have a windmill. In the next video, we're going to see a much more complex design of a windmill. It starts with some printouts that they use, but don't let that worry you. You certainly do not have to use the computer printouts that they do. It just makes for a really pretty looking windmill. They actually glue these to some foam board. So if you have foam board at home, it's a great way to build the structure of your windmill. If you don't, you might be able to start by just using a milk carton. So again, let's show this video. It gets a little more in depth. You definitely want to have an adult with you. There's a lot of cutting involved. There's some hot glue involved, some measurement involved. So again, good idea to have an adult present. Definitely a pretty looking windmill. So these are the printouts that I was talking about, but again, not really necessary. The important thing if you're going to cut out your own on either foam board or cardboard is your measurements. Notice it's a little bit wider at the bottom, maybe 4 inches, going to about 2.5 or 3 inches on top. Again, they're going to use holes to insert the rod, and they're gluing the pieces together using hot glue, which is another reason I like an adult to be present. But As you can see, a milk carton has the same, or a juice carton has the same basic shape. You would just have to place those holes in the top, making sure that they are directly across from one another. So I'm going to pause the video here for a second and let you take a look at this particular triangular piece that he is attaching. It's important to have space between your windmill blades and the windmill structure itself. If the windmill blades are too close to the structure, that's going to create friction, and the windmill blades won't be able to spin quite as fast. So they have this nice triangular piece flush against the windmill building, so that there will be nothing to encumber or to stop those blades from moving. So this is an intricate little piece, again, using a small dowel rod or a wooden skewer, a circular piece of foam, and then 3 small triangles around the base. And again, this is helping to create that space so that the blades can spin freely. Now, the interesting thing about the blades, I'm going to stop the video again. The interesting thing about the blades, they're also made of foam core, but if you had corrugated cardboard, this would work just as well. And again, they're using some wooden skewers. So if you barbecue at home, make shish kebabs, you might have those skewers around. A toothpick may work, but it would have to be pretty long. So what he's going to do with these skewers is he's going to insert it into the foam core. If you have corrugated cardboard that you're using, you'll see on the edges those loops and empty spaces, which again is a great place for you to insert that skewer or that long wooden toothpick. He's making some holes inside that circular piece, and he's going to trim these down. He's got a handy dandy tool there to do it all at one time. And then sticking that into the pre-drilled holes. So you can see he has some pretty good sized windmill blades going on there. And as he slid it on, kind of abruptly stopped there. Let me try that again. As he slid it on, you noticed that that stopping point worked really well so that the windmill blades themselves didn't slide all the way back in. But like I said, boys and girls, I have seen tons of videos on how to create those windmills. You have access to this video on YouTube. You have access to all of those videos as well. Simply do a search for DIY or do-it-yourself windmill for kids, or building a windmill for kids, how to build a windmill for kids. You'll see them out of pop bottles, out of plastic, out of paper cups, out of popsicle sticks, out of milk cartons. There's tons and tons of information out there. Have fun building your windmill.